Hello students, good morning. Once again, this is Ajay Kumar Solanki and today I will discuss the chapter number 6, the Delhi Sultanate, part 3rd. And in this part actually we will discuss about the administrative system, how the rulers used to rule over the empires, what actually was the way of art and architecture, what actually was the condition at the social level, what actually were the developments on the cultural level and reasons as well for the decline of Delhi Sultanate. How Delhi Sultanate actually came to end. What actually were the factors responsible for Delhi Sultanate's decline. Earlier you have already gone through in Delhi Sultanate parts 1 and 2 about the different rulers, their time periods and how actually the one ruler after another came upon and lots of things, many more things actually you just came to know. Now in this chapter, first of all, as you are just watching the administrative system of the Delhi Sultanate, what actually was the administration of Delhi Sultanate? You know that Delhi Sultanate rulers actually were quite autocrats. There were no control over them. They had the enormous power, so that's why there was no check over them excluding one, and that was the check of Quran. Law of Quran. Some of the sultans were there of Delhi Sultanate who gave their respect to caliphs. खलीफाओं को respect देते थे वो कुछ सुल्तान. And for practical aims actually, whatever the practical work actually they used to do, so they did not like any interfere in their working at all. And the people, those who were Turks, actually they did not have any law of succession. Without any rules and regulations, they used to ascend the throne. And now next is the following were the administrative units of Delhi Sultanate. Step by step, I will let you know. First of all was the Sultan. He was the head of the political authority. He was the pivot of the administrative system. He was the center point around whom actually every incident, every activity of the state revolved. Next one is Diwan-e-Insha. He was the person who used to read all the official letters to the king, all the official workings for the king, very faithful for the king. He was Diwan-e-Rasalat. He used to deal all the religious matters of the Sultanate. And however, some scholars maintain, this is the theory of some scholars, that Diwan-e-Rasalat was a minister who used to deal foreign matters as well. Diwan-e-Qaza, he was the main Qazi of the Sultanate. Now we will read about the provincial administration. What actually were the administration in provinces of Delhi. जो प्रांत होते थे दिल्ली के, वहाँ पे किस तरह का शासन था. It was divided into provinces. Whole Sultanate was divided. Unit wise provincial administration was run by Mukti, Ikdas, and so many officials were there. And the provinces were divided into small parganas into very small villages. And collection was taken by muqaddams, Khoots, Chaudharis, and they used to collect the revenue from the farmers or the people those used to live in parganas and villages. Shahana-e-Mandi was the superintendent of the market. This was the title given to him, and he used to keep an eye over every activity of the shopkeeper and merchants. And Hindus especially had to pay additional tax named jizya to these supervisors, to these officers. Now we will read about the art and architecture in Sultanate period. किस तरह की आर्ट थी, किस तरह की आर्किटेक्चर था. एंड एज यू कैन सी इन दिस पैराग्राफ, then styles were quite mixed with the ancient Indian style, and a new form of architecture came into existence. That was the mixture. Turks and Afghans brought with them a new style and techniques of architecture, and after getting mingled with the Indian style, ancient Indian style, another style came into existence. And this new style with the mixture was known as Indo-Islamic style of architecture. And the two most important features of this style, mixed style, was true arc and dome. Arc was pointed without being supported with a beam, and dome was a area, large area enclosed by a hollow semicircular roofs. Both of them were based on advanced mathematical knowledge, and engineering skills could be seen in their manufacturing. And now these forms began to be used widely, and this thing, dome and arc, and new technical engineering skills could be seen in different mosques, palaces, tombs, and later in private houses also people used to apply. And the Qutub Minar and Qubbat ul Islam Mosque, that is in Delhi, are the examples of this style, Indo-Islamic architecture. Qubbat ul Islam Mosque was the first construction. This was the very first construction by Qutubuddin Aibak, very first time actually constructed this mosque. And this was made only because of one reason, and that was to celebrate, to commemorate, means celebrate the victory of Delhi. And this was to indicate the power of Islam, how powerful actually it is, because of which Delhi is now in their possession. And this was a time period when Qutub Minar was started, and Qutubuddin Aibak actually cannot be given the whole credit for getting it constructed, because he constructed its first story also only. Later on, Samshuddin Iltutmish actually constructed its four other stories. As the time passed by, over the years, it was damaged, and thereafter these are the rulers who gave their active participation, active contribution to get it repaired once again. Its height is 72.5 meter and has 378 stairs. Red sandstone has been used in it. White marble has also been used. About 800 years ago, very few buildings were made of stone or brick. So that's why this is very rare building, because at that very time no stone or bricks were used in constructing the houses. And so that's why this rare stone and brick has been used in constructing the Qutub Minar. And this building was dedicated to Sufi Saint Qutubuddin Bakhtiyari Kaki, and it is now a World Heritage Site. It has been preserved, and the pilgrims used to come to have a view of it. Calligraphic inscriptions resembling letters and decorative carvings. Actually, these carvings are the structures that are made on rocks after cutting them. Shape देके बनाई जाती हैं rocks को. Remarkably, the inscription of the current and angular surface of the minar must be an act of most skilled craftsmen. Whatever the skills has been shown over the Qutub Minar by the skilled craftspeople actually are the really the best exemplary work done by them. Alauddin Khilji built the entrance door of the Qutub complex. This is another historical monument of that very Sultanate, Delhi Sultanate, and this is known as Alai Darwaza. Built in AD 1311, the Alai Darwaza is a southern gateway for entering the Qubbat ul Islam Mosque. Alai Darwaza is this gateway to the south direction to get entered inside it. And red sandstone has been used in its construction. Some other monuments are given over here of Delhi Sultanate. Tomb of Iltutmish, the Adhai Din Ka Jhopda, this was also built by Qutubuddin Aibak, and in Ajmer. The tomb of Balban with a square dome. This dome is square shaped. Tughlaqabad Fort, Kotla Firoz Shah, and tombs of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, Muhammad Shah Sayyid, and Sikandar Lodi. Mort ki Masjid. Lots of examples are there of Delhi Sultanate monuments. A large number of public structures were also built in the Sultanate period. Not only the monuments but also some other general things were also constructed at that very time for the use of general public, like mosques, tanks, wells, बाउलीज. बाउलीज एक गहरा कुआं होता है. कारवां सराइज, एक बड़ा सा बरामदा और उसके बराबर में मौजूद एक सराय जिसमें कि काफ़ी ग्रुप में लोग रह सकते हैं. रोड्स एंड बाजार्स टू, दे वर ऑल्सो कंस्ट्रक्टेड एट दैट वेरी टाइम. नाउ सोशियो कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट्स. नाउ वी विल कम टू नो हाउ Delhi Sultanate developed at the social level, at the cultural level. As you can see that the development in the field of literature, music and art. First of all, in the field of literature, Sultan of Delhi were very fond of learning. These are the names who were really well versed poet of that very period. And the Muslim historians were careful writers of history, you know. And among some of the prominent historians, these are the names who were really very careful writer of history. Al-Biruni was an accomplished Sanskrit learned man. Amir Khusro, reference has been given over here now, the greatest of all Indian poets, and it is believed कि he has composed more than 4 lakhs of couplets. कपल की फॉर्म में, 2 लाइन की फॉर्म में जो पोइम्स हैं, 4 lakhs he had composed, जिसकी वजह से he was also called Tuti A Hind, parrot of India. Sikandar Lodi also composed verses in Persian language, and but not by his original name, and by another name that was his pen name, Gul Rukhi, and he translated a Sanskrit book on medicine into Persian language. Vidyapati, another famous poet, composed the beautiful verses in Maithili language. Chand Bardai composed Prithviraj Raso. Now I will talk about languages. There is no doubt in it कि Turco-Afghan rulers were warriors. They used to fight wars, but on the other hand, they were the lovers of Islamic learning. And the language of the people got boost from the Muslim rulers of the provincial kingdoms, and it got boosted up by the Muslim rulers. Consequently, much of the popular literature in Sanskrit was available. This was very popular language at that very time, and it was spoken at a wider level. It was a regional language that used to be spoken in whole region. Firoz Shah Tughlaq took keen interest in the translation work. Now the regional languages got tremendous boost from the Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement actually played the role of the support for the regional languages. Many saints popularized the vernacular languages, the languages which were used, which is the medium, which is the common language that is spoken by the common people, that is the vernacular language. Vernacular language, as you can see, is the language और डायलेक्ट, एक बोली होती है स्पोकन बाय द ऑर्डिनरी पीपल, जिन्हें साधारण लोग भी बोलते हैं एक पर्टिकुलर रीजन में. सो वंस अगेन कम बैक. Now we were here. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, keen interest, and thereafter here the language is Hindi. The languages Hindi, Brij, Awadhi, etc. became popular. These languages get the popularity at that very time of Delhi Sultanate. A rich treasure of literature developed in Tamil, and the literature was translated in other languages also, like Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada. Lots of languages were there in which literature was translated. Persian was the official language of sultans. This was the official language in which sultan used to do their work, and whereas the Arab traders used Arabic. जो अरब व्यापारी होते थे, Arabic language they used. The birth of Urdu language was an important development, because Urdu was a mixture of Persian and Hindi language. The word Urdu means language of the camp. Urdu developed a lingua franca after the Muslim invasions between the occupying armies and the local people of the region around Delhi. मुस्लिम इन्वेजन्स के बाद में उर्दू डेवलप्ड एज ए लिंगुआ फ्रेंका. लिंगुआ फ्रेंका मीन्स लिंगुआ फ्रेंका एक्चुअल लैंग्वेज विच इज़ अडोप्टेड एज ए कॉमन लैंग्वेज, जिसको हम एक कॉमन लैंग्वेज मान लेते हैं, अडोप्ट कर लेते हैं बिटवीन स्पीकर्स हुज नेटिव लैंग्वेज आर डिफरेंट, जिनकी नेटिव लैंग्वेज अपनी खुद की लैंग्वेज डिफरेंट होती है, लेकिन उनकी बोली दूसरी होती है, और दूसरी भाषा को भी अडोप्ट कर लिया जाता है एक कॉमन लैंग्वेज के तौर पे. Educational centers. During the Sultanate period, formal education was imparted in schools attached to the mosques, temples, but the major emphasis was given on religious education to the students. Lots of madrasas were there, supported by Delhi Sultanate. They used to finance them, they used to provide them aid also. Hindu Pathshalas were also there for imparting education to the students. Sultans of Delhi were very fond of learning, and it is roughly calculated that during the Tughlaq period there were nearly 1000 educational institutions in Delhi. Music. Now I will talk about music. Sultanate period. During the Sultanate period, music also flourished. The fusion of the Perso-Arabian and the Indian musical forms, and after the compilation of both the forms actually developed a new sort of music. And Amir Khusro, who lived in the court of Alauddin Khilji, he used to work for him, contribution the Hindustani classical music, and his this contribution of Amir Khusro Hindustani classical music was quite exceptional. No music can be given, no music can be as much matchable as the music given by him. It is said that he created this sitar and tabla too. He also created several new ragas and produced many styles of singing like khayal, tarana, qawwali. So Amir Khusro is given a great level to Delhi Sultanate in concern of music. Nayak Gopal was also in the court of Alauddin Khilji. He used to work for him. It is said that he created several ragas. Firoz Tughlaq was patronized music. He also favored music, Firoz Tughlaq, and he got the musical work. Rag Darpan, translated into Persian language. Another work on the different forms of music called Lahazat-e-Sikandar Shahi was written. It was written during the time of Sikandar Lodi. Bhakti saints and Sufi saints also contributed in the development and promotion of music. Not only the sultans, not only the kings of Delhi Sultanate, but Bhakti saints and Sufi saints, they also contributed a lot. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mirabai, they are the examples of Bhakti movement, and through devotional songs actually they gave their contribution. Mardana, who was the student, who was a disciple of Guru Nanak, and also popularized devotional singing. He also made it popular. Religion. During the Sultanate period, Islam made rapid progress. At this time, during the Sultanate period, and the popularity of Islam spread far and wide. And two different important trends we will talk about now. The Bhakti movement. The Bhakti movement had its roots in the principles of Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. As Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, as per Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly preached out by the saints of Bhakti movement that we should love, we should devote and to others, and to get the salvation we should be devoted to Brahma, and this is the mean only by which and we can attain God. We should be irrespective of caste and creed, and we should focus only on love and devotion, oneness of God, and whatever the other activities one does, that is to go on pilgrimage, keeping fast, bathing in rivers, idol worships, caste system and castes were of no help in obtaining salvation. This is quite a wastage of time. Message of mutual love and brotherhood paved the way for better and true understanding between Hinduism and Islam. Not only this, a path was set up between Hindus and Muslims only because of this bridge that was of mutual love, and through which Muslims and Hindus get their way clear to talk to each other, to cooperate each other, and the prominent Bhakti saints were Ramananda, Kabir, Guru Nanak and Mirabai. They are noticeable Bhakti saints. Now we will discuss the Sufi movement. Sufism came into existence in the early centuries of Islam. When Islam came earlier, in the beginning of Islamic days, Sufism came into existence. It is the spiritual path to mystical union with God. Mystical means, as you know, it is given a belief that union into the absolute may be attained through contemplation and self-surrender. If we contemplate, if we think about God, if we surrender ourselves in the services of God, then a path, a spiritual path can be made for us to reach God. And Sufis laid stress on seeking salvation through concentrated devotion and love for God. Only this is the way, devotion to God and love, by which one can attain God. Sufis followed the example of Prophet Muhammad. And Prophet Muhammad was considered, according to them, the perfect human being on earth. Sufism developed into a movement by 11th century. Sufism gradually came out as a movement. The Sufis started to organize communities later on around the Khangah, controlled by a Sheikh, Pir or Murshid. This was the Sufis started to organize communities around the Khangah. Khangah means what? Is center of social life, where the social gatherings were there mainly. Around the 12th century AD, Sufis silsilas began to form in different regions of the Islamic world. Silsilas means, as you can see children, the chain, signifying a continuous link between master and disciples. That is a chain which indicates a continuous link, how a teacher, how a master can be connected with his disciple. Silsilas were named after a founding figure. Examples are given according to which silsilas were given names, like Qadri Silsila was named after Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. On the other hand, Chishti Silsila, and it was named after its place of origin. And the place of origin is given the town of Chisht in central Afghanistan. Now we will discuss about the reasons of decline of Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate actually rulers ruled over of Delhi Sultanate more than 320 years. And the reasons thereafter for its decline were set up during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firuz Shah, and the process decline got pace. Thereafter it got pace very fast. It declined, and during the time of Sayyid Sultans and Lodi Sultans, not very able to control every situation, Battle of Panipat sealed the fate of Lodi dynasty finally. Following were the main reasons for the decline of Delhi Sultanate. First of all, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He inherited a vast empire, but he did not have any control over it. He did not have efficiency to control over it. Process of disintegration accelerated. It became very fast at the time of Firuz Tughlaq. Invasion of Timur. Thereafter, the attack of Timur in 1398 gave a death blow to the Tughlaq dynasty. That was the final blow. Thereafter, Tughlaq dynasty could not remain in existence anymore. After the fall of Tughlaq dynasty, India was split up. India was divided into number of independent states. Over them, there was no supreme ruler. There was no hereditary principle of succession, which caused several problems. There was not at all any rules and regulations, any laws by which the new successors can be ascended on the throne. Ibrahim Lodi was politically immature ruler. and his strategies were really very poor. He was not a far-sighted ruler. So, according to Dr. Ishwari Prasad, Battle of Panipat placed the empire of Delhi in Babur's hands. After this battle, empire of Delhi came into hands of Babur, and the power of Lodi dynasty was shattered to pieces. And Lodi dynasty was shattered into pieces. It was completely ended up. Now the students, we will discuss the questions of this chapter. Write in brief about Amir Khusro's contribution to literature and music. Now can you tell me Amir Khusro, what was the contribution of Amir Khusro? Already I have told you. Here you can see Amir Khusro was the greatest of all the Indian poets, and he had composed more than 4 lakhs of couplets, because of which he is called as Parrot of India, Tuti-e-Hind. Now second question, can you tell me which was the official language of the sultans of the Delhi Sultanate? Delhi Sultanate के जो सुल्तान थे उनकी ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज क्या थी? किस लैंग्वेज में वो वर्कआउट करते थे ऑफिशियली? कैन यू टेल मी द आंसर? ओके, obviously it was the Persian language. It is given in the chapter. Name any 2 religious trends during the Delhi Sultanate period. अच्छा चलिए, now can you tell me 2 religious trends? 2 religious trends के नाम बता सकते हैं आप दिल्ली सल्तनत पीरियड के दौरान जो थी? वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन इट इज. सूफी सेंट्स, दिस इज द गिवन इन योर चैप्टर. यू कैन इजीली find them out. First one is the Bhakti movement and second one is the Sufi movement. It is given over here. Okay, now fourth question. What were the main teachings of Bhakti saints? Tell me the answer. Okay, I will let you know the answer of this question. According to Bhakti saints, actually salvation lies in love and devotion. If we This gives the way, love and devotion to Brahma, and we should be irrespective of caste and creed also to attain salvation. Those who waste time in pilgrimages, keeping fast, bathing in rivers, worship of idols, such people actually cannot get salvation. Now next question we will discuss. Name any 4 prominent monuments of Delhi Sultanate period. Lots of monuments. Prominent means देखने लायक. नोटिसेबल मोनूमेंट्स, क्या आप 4 मोनूमेंट्स के नाम बता सकते हैं? लॉट्स ऑफ मोनूमेंट्स आर गिवन हियर. वंस अगेन आई कैन शो यू सो दैट यू कैन इजीली अंडरस्टैंड. टॉम्ब ऑफ इल्तुतमिश, 2.5 दिन का झोंपड़ा, एंड लॉट्स ऑफ मोनूमेंट्स आर गिवन. वी हैव टू राइट ओनली 4. टॉम्ब्स ऑफ बलबन, तुगलकाबाद फोर्ट, कोटला फिरोज शाह, मोट की मस्जिद. सो दीज आर दी monuments. Write in brief about the administrative system of Delhi Sultanate. दिल्ली के एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम के बारे में बताइए. कैन यू टेल मी? थिंक अबाउट द आंसर, सर्च आउट द आंसर. हरी अप ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम it is given. Already I have explained. It was divided into different structures like Sultan, like Diwan-e Insha, Diwan-e Rasala, Diwan-e Qaza, and all of them had the different workings. So you can read the workings again. Write in brief about the socio-cultural development during the Delhi Sultanate period. Now आपको बताना है कि दिल्ली सल्तनत एज के दौरान दिल्ली में किस तरह का सामाजिक स्तर पे, कल्चरल लेवल पे डेवलपमेंट था. So no need to be worried. Once again we can go to the heading social cultural development. In the field of literature, lots of writers, lots of poets are given. Amir Khusro, the best of all, is also given. Sikandar Lodi, Vidyapati. So lots of writers are given over here. Languages are given. How actually the new languages were formed with the combination of 2 earlier languages, and thereafter these languages are given. Hindi, Braj, Awadhi, they became also very popular language, and so educational centers are also given. So we can find out the answer very easily. Music, in field of music also, and write in brief about the Sufi movement. The Sufi movement clearly stated that a spiritual path can be made clear only with the mystical union with God. mystical union, I have already told you, when somebody is quite contemplative and somebody has surrendered himself to God, then salvation can be achieved. And now next question I will discuss with you. I think you must be ready for it. And what were the main features of architecture during the Delhi Sultanate period? अब हमें बताना है कि दिल्ली सल्तनत पीरियड के दौरान मेन फीचर्स क्या थे आर्किटेक्चर के, किस तरह से बिल्डिंग्स जो हैं बनाई जाती थी, तैयार की जाती थी. तो एक वंस अगेन आई कैन शो यू आर्ट एंड आर्किटेक्चर. दिस इज गिवन. Indo-Islamic style has been introduced. Dome and arc were the main features, and these features were given in a very skillful way to the buildings, monuments, even tombs, palaces, mosques. Even the simple, ordinary people used to apply this system in their private houses also. So this is the given. Very easy question it was. And now next question we will discuss. And this is the last question. And what were the main reasons for decline of Delhi Sultanate? Delhi Sultanate decline कैसे हुई, ख़त्म कैसे हुई? Can you tell me the answer? So lots of reasons are given. One by one. First of all, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, an effective ruler. Thereafter, Firuz Shah Tughlaq, more ineffective ruler. And first of all, ineffective ruler was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Thereafter, more ineffective ruler was Firuz Tughlaq. And thereafter, invasion of Timur. It affected a lot. It affected a lot. The Delhi Sultanate was affected. Tughlaq dynasty actually was affected a lot, because of which no proper rules and regulation of succession. So these all were the reasons because of which Delhi Sultanate later on declined. So children, I do hope कि आप सभी को ये lesson, इसके questions, everything actually you got well. Thank you very much and have a good day.